You look nervous.
I'm scared to death of flying.
Statistically, flying is much safer than driving.
I know plane crashes are rare, but I'm still worried. Maybe I'm crazy.
Being worried doesn't make you crazy. It can help you avoid danger or be better prepared.
What worries you?
There are many unlikely events that I try to prepare for. But I wouldn't say I worry about them.
Give me an example.
Yellowstone Park sits on a giant volcano that erupts every 700,000 years or so. If it were to go off, it would overwhelm our nation's emergency response capabilities and disrupt global food production.
And I thought I was crazy.
A supervolcano erupting is more likely than dying from a plane crash.
Hundreds of people die each year from plane crashes. I haven't heard of any supervolcano deaths.
Over the course of a year, there is about a 1 in 650,000 chance that you will die of a plane crash. That's almost exactly the probability that the Yellowstone supervolcano will erupt in any given year. The difference is, you can prepare for the volcano.
That still seems pretty far-fetched.
Yes, it is very unlikely. But remember that over the course of a lifetime, those yearly probabilities add up. So from a single volcano, there is more than a 1 in 10,000 chance of major disaster.
1 in 10,000 is still pretty rare.
That's why I don't worry about it. But it is still reasonable to prepare for it. There are other disasters that are far more likely, but it is tricky to estimate their probability. You can argue about how likely a nuclear explosion is, but you can't argue with the volcano.
You sound like one of those crazy prepper people.
It's true that some preppers can go overboard. Once you start worrying about these things, it can be difficult to know when to stop.
And where do you stop?
Most of my preparations save me time and money. So being more prepared is just a side benefit.
Like what?
Much of the food you eat can last for over 2 years if stored well. Things like canned goods, rice, oatmeal, dried beans, honey, sugar and salt. I buy that food in bulk every 6 months and keep an 18-month supply. The same goes for household items like trash bags and toilet paper. I don't waste anything. And I save money buying in bulk at the best prices. As a side benefit, I have several months of emergency supplies if I ever need them.
I doubt I would last a week on what's in my fridge.
My grandparents used to get a lot of food from their garden. They weren't farmers, but they had chickens and would preserve their own vegetables. If they lost power or couldn't get gasoline for a few months, I think life would get harder. But they would do just fine. Fast forward a few generations, and most of our country is completely dependent on our national power grid and transportation system for their survival. These are very robust systems that haven't had a major disruption for 100 years. But are you willing to bet your life on them?
All of this sounds very reasonable. But I still think you are crazy.
I get that a lot.
But can I visit you if there is ever a national emergency?
I get that a lot too. Don't bother. It will be crowded.